Okay, so we're talking about Mark Zuckerberg and the whole Facebook scandal right now about misinformation and all that kind of stuff. Let's just take a quick listen.
Collaborative. It's as though she couldn't mention Mark Zuckerberg's name. Isn't he the one who will be making this decision from your experience in the company?
Mark holds a very unique role in the tech industry in that he holds over 55% of all the voting shares for Facebook. There are no similarly powerful companies that are as unilaterally controlled. And in the end, the buck stops with Mark. There's no one currently holding Mark accountable by himself.
And Mark Zuckerberg, in effect, is the algorithm designer-in-chief, correct?
I received an MBA from Harvard, and they emphasized to us that we are responsible for the organizations that we build. Mark has built an organization that is very metrics driven, it is intended to be flat. There is no unilateral responsibility. The metric.
Oh, it's Orange 22, and damn, I'm getting to that point where I gotta start thinking about getting a haircut again. What a hassle. And the annoying thing is, some women like longer hair on a guy, some women hate longer hair on a guy. So you never know. But I'm gonna kind of defend Mark Zuckerberg a little bit. And don't worry, I mean, I understand what he's doing is wrong, but basically that video, it's on C-SPAN kind of like right now. The whole debate about Facebook getting involved with politics and undue influence and false information. But look, here's the thing. And I completely agree there's a problem going on, 100%. But human to human, I understand the human nature behind Mark Zuckerberg. And the reality is, you and I would probably be doing something very similar if we were suddenly given that position of power. Because it feels good. I mean, think about it. 19-year-old kid. And, he came from a pretty wealthy family, but he wasn't he was basically a nobody in the grand scheme of things. And then all of a sudden, from his dorm room, he builds an empire. He built one of the biggest companies in the world. He becomes one of the most influential and powerful people in the world. And believe me, he is one of the most influential people in the world. Right? Facebook is huge. It went from being something that, teenagers and college students did for fun to something that is now on the news because some of the strongest governments in the world, like the US and Russia, use it as a political tool. I mean, that's gotta feel good. That's gotta be a rush, knowing that you built something that has become so powerful and so influential that it affects the politics of the United States. The US Senate has a meeting about it. On some primal human instinctual level, man, that's gotta feel good. And look, it feels good having power. I have power on the men's rights Discord, right? I'm an admin. I have power. And not only can I give orders to regular members, but I can give orders to lower levels of staff. I outrank moderators. Does it feel good? Hell yeah, it feels good. Of course it does. It's human nature. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, if I were the dictator of for example, I remember Fox News did a story a few years ago about something like one of Obama's nieces got a really expensive car. And it was like, how could she afford that? And this is corruption. And look, here's the thing. Every president is doing a little something on the side. Every president's, has got a little something going on. That's just human nature. Unless it's, obtuse or unless it's blatantly gross corruption, a little sprinkle here and there, that's just to be expected. If I was a dictator of the world, I think I'd be a good dictator. I'm not an evil person, and I would genuinely work for the good of the people, and I would genuinely want to make the world a better place. But would I have a little something on the side? Hell yeah, would I be slipping and sliding just a little bit every once in a while here and there? Sure, hell yeah, I would. And probably so would you. And that's just human nature. And as long as it doesn't get out of control or too crazy, you know what? I get it. But once again, to be clear, there is a problem with Facebook right now and with what Mark is doing. And when I said I would do the same thing, I didn't exactly mean that. I wouldn't do the same thing quite, because there are some problems. I do acknowledge Zuckerberg has done some very wrong things that are not okay and do need to be talked about. But I get it. He's become an international player on the international stage. He's become a major, powerful person, and he wants to play, he wants to play the politics game. He wants to play the government game, and I get it. When I was in high school, Facebook was a way to hit up hot girls from other schools, and then try and get something going. Now it's something that major governments use as part of their political arsenal. It's become a political tool, and it's become extremely influential, you know. And I'm old enough to remember a time when your mom and dad weren't on Facebook, and you could post whatever you want. I remember, I think junior year, my band director got a Facebook page, and he was a cool guy, Mr. Skinner, all the respect in the world, great musician, great teacher. I learned a lot from him. I was like, damn, man, I don't want to have like my band director, like I don't want a teacher on like my Facebook page. Like when I had Facebook, I blocked all my relatives, my cousins, my dad, my sisters. Like some things should not mix. I don't want my family checking out my social media, and my family's great. I mean, it's fine. It's like I like Thanksgiving dinner as much as the next guy, but it's like social media, I don't want my dad checking out my status. You know what I mean? It's just some things should not mix. And there are some things where you should be separate from your teachers, separate from your boss, separate from your family, separate from your parents and your kids. Like my parents were great because they were very hands-off growing up. Like they didn't go to all my Little League games. They didn't go to all my events. And that's great. Trust me, listen, there's a huge myth, the trope of, the 9-year-old kid, playing baseball in his Little League. And he steps up to the plate and he looks up to the crowd and he sadly sees that his father isn't there. And he's so sad. No, it's the opposite. We hated it when our parents went to the games. It was the worst. You step up to the plate and you hear, whoa! It's like, no, Mom, please stop. Just go home. We're with our friends. Parents, you do not need to go to all of your kids' events growing up. Trust me, they don't miss you. Okay, they're absolutely fine. They are with their friends. Okay, they're good. They don't need you to be there 24/7. They really seriously do not. Okay, they don't need you to go on all their school events. They don't need you to go on all their games. Every once in a while, sure, I understand the parents want to be there, but kids, believe me, they are more than happy to be left alone with their friends. But we're getting way off topic here. But anyway, so yes, I do agree that what Zuckerberg is doing is a serious problem. It is wrong, and it does need to be addressed. But, put yourself in his shoes for a second. Imagine you're in his position. Imagine the power that you would have. It would feel good. I mean, human nature. He wants to be on the main stage. He wants to be playing politics. He wants to be a mover. He wants to be one of the most powerful people in the world. I get that. I mean, I get it. I haven't used Facebook in years. Right? I think I have an account, but I'm not even sure I remember what my password is anyway. But, anywho, just some thoughts.